Alright, so we're here for round one of Richard Adams' Merfolk deck. We'll be playing an 8-man and then hopefully only a 2-man since we'll win the 8-man. But we're going to take the play, and hand seems great. I couldn't see any reason to mulligan this. We'll keep. So we'll be leading off with the Curse Catcher. This will force us to not play with F6 at any time, even if we're tapped out. Alright, so let's see what our opponent is going to be doing. Alright, Hallowed Fountain's an interesting first turn. That could mean blue-white-red control, potentially some form of Tron deck. That's less likely. But we'll get in for two. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have a lightning bolt. And just pass it with Seachrome Coast. So I have no idea what our opponent's doing, but we are definitely bringing the beat down. Alright, so we'll attack without putting Mutavault into play, since that'll be our only play for the turn. And our Master of Waves aren't going to be particularly that great. Yeah, alright, so Path we're going to protect our Lord from, since our Lord is so important in the matchup. And we'll just put that into play again. Snapcaster Mage does do a little damage to us if our opponent has it, but we'll be able to lead with Master of Waves first, in case that's a deal. Alright, drawing a bunch of lands isn't the greatest place we can be. So let's say we play Master Waves first, what our opponent, and then we attack with both. Our opponent can just so if we attack with both, our opponent can just get a 2-for-1. If we just attack with Lord, if we just attack with Curse Catcher, our opponent can get a 2-for-1. If we attack with Lord, our opponent can get a 2-for-1. So we can't really beat it, so hopefully Master Waves is enough of a follow-up. Alright, that is not what I thought was going to happen. Our opponent will be taking our Master Waves. I guess we should have just played our Master first. Alright, so we'll just get this into play, since next turn we'll be able to attack and play a Master. And we have protection from cards like Cryptic Command. Ooh, our opponent has its own Mutavault. Can't beat it. Reader is an interesting one. So we can play Readery and then play Master into Mana Leak, and then get in with both our guys and deal that. Or we can just play one. I feel like we're kind of forced to play both. Alright, so this is just going to get remanded. We'll just play it again and attack for 2. Alright. Supreme Verdict can't be countered. Yeah. That's not bad. We're kind of stuck now, though, since any Snapcaster Mage kills both of our guys. I'm okay with an Anticipate. I mean, Anticipate will find our opponent better cards, but it's not as potent as other things that could possibly happen. Alright, so I guess we can only attack with the Mutavault because we don't want to trade this. Pathing the Master. Play another Mutavault. Alright, so what we need to draw is Lords to try to finish this game off. And or we just draw these and hope our opponent doesn't have a Snapcaster, because I don't really know what else we can do besides just force the action. We can try to play around Snapcaster, but then our opponent just gets to Snap Anticipate. That's better than anything else that could have happened. Interesting. Alright. Our opponent has 5 cards. If any of them were Snapcaster, we're in a lot of trouble. Don't really know what we can draw that's like super powerful. I mean, maybe Dismember for the Mutavault. Potentially Vapor Snake could get us out of some bind. That is a nice one. Three, 4. Cryptic Bounce, maybe. Okay. Oh, Silumgar Scorn? Ew. Really? I wish we had a removal spell for that. Supreme Verdict and Spell Surge Sprite, huh? Well, if our opponent only has reactive cards that are all expensive, we can just keep getting in with this. Sword of Light and Shadow? No, that's the best one. Ow, that's perfect. Now the deal is, if our opponent could... Alright, what could our opponent have that stops us from doing this? I don't think anything. Unless maybe Rips Mutavault, Spellstar Sprite. But that's worth it. It's worth waiting. I want our opponent to use 2 mana on the sword. I think we have a better chance of winning if they do that. Alright. I just have to hope this Mutavault wins. That could mean Snapcaster Mage, which is bad. What could we do to win? Alright, so let's animate. And let's attack. And now if our opponent has Snapcaster Mage, we kill him. What is this? Oh, just a chump blocking Spellstar Sprite? I'm pretty sure all clones can just clone a Mutavault. I might look dumb, but I think this works. Alright. Alright, so now we have to just fade a Gideon. Mutavault. Alright, I don't know. Awesome. Because that game felt real bad for a while. So let's figure out what we want in this matchup. Our opponent's going to be targeting our stuff a lot. Tiebiter Mage seems terrible. Unified Will seems great. Spell seems great. Spell Pierce doesn't seem too good. Now what don't we want? Spreading Seas hits all of the man lands, which could be relevant. I don't think this Phantasmal Image is going to be that good. Our opponent has counters and removal. Master Wave seems awful. But do we need the threat density? Like, I want all of our Dismembers and Vapor Snags to deal with these Spellstar Sprites, and we can play around them with our 1-drops, hopefully. Maybe this game will go long. We might even name Khans with a second one, but I just don't feel like these Master Waves are going to be good. I guess Spell Pierce doesn't seem like the worst. We are pretty low on threats, though. That's like an issue of mine. It's like a concern. I mean, these vials are in here for a reason. I guess you just need to play with the vials. I'm gonna do Chop. The Spell Pierce, I don't feel like it's gonna be that good. No, stops the Snapcasters. I wish I knew how to sideboard this. Let's take a Vial out. I don't. No, Vial seems good in the matchup. Man, this is a tough deck to sideboard. Let's just do 2 Siege. Since our opponent doesn't have mono removal. So here's going to be a good Aether Vial hand. We'll keep. Since we have this Unified Will, we get to just like play our guys out slower, but and if our opponent plays a Mutavault, we'll be able to play Spreading Seas on turn 2. Nope. I'd love to put a counter on. Might as well. No. Let's not let our opponent play a Remand if we don't have to. I'm okay with our opponent casting Anticipate. Alright, there we have a Spreading Seas target. We'll be able to Vial in. Yes. So we'll have Curse Catcher into play, put this up to 2. And a Spell Pierce, huh? So now we have Counter Magic to get go. We'll attack. Vial in our... We'll do Lord. That'll help our opponent think that maybe they'll be able to play Mutavault safely for a combat against the Lord. And I don't see any reason why we want to cast anything since we have Counter Magic up. We might just get Verdict here. And we will not be doing anything with this. Would you like to use a Vial? No. No, we're just going to attack for 4 again. See what happens. Alright, so our opponent's going to Snapcaster. Anticipate. I feel like we should just counter that because it not only gets our opponent to a Supreme Verdict, but I don't want to just throw a Master into play and have our opponent find the Supreme Verdict, so I'm just going to Unified Will this. Okay, so that forces our hand. So now we're just forced into hoping our opponent doesn't have Supreme Verdict. But if they don't, we're in pretty good position. If they do, we're in a lot of trouble. And attack into... Well, we can't block. So we just take our 2, get Supreme Verdict. Because even if we block, they could just kill this, and then we lose both our Lords. Yep. I'm not going to activate Vial this turn. Since we still have all these Adepts, we'll just Spreading Seas the Colonnade. Play our land and pass. No, not concede. Turn off the auto yields. Ojutai. Well, we're going to have to fight over that next turn. We got a lot to fight over, though. Still not, because we're not in that much of a hurry to play this Reejerey. Alright, Dismember. I wonder where this deck came from. I don't think we want to dispel the Anticipate because we can just dispel something later. But this means that our opponent doesn't have an answer. Let's just dispel the Anticipate. Alright, so that gets the Spellstutter Sprite out of our opponent's hand. Opponent's going to get to Anticipate. And hopefully we can just counter whatever spell that happens. Alright. Doesn't find anything. Probably just a removal spell. Nope. Don't need to. Alright, that is a perfect draw. Let's activate it and just get the Silvergill into play in case we draw land for a Spell Pierce. Finally found one of our buddies. Let's find a Mutavault. Yes! Perfect draw. And that'll get Spell Pierced. Should have untapped. Alright. Not the worst position we could be in. We have a removal spell and our opponent doesn't have any threat as long as Snapcaster does not bring a Supreme Verdict down on us. I mean, even then we still have Mutavault and can draw more Adepts. Colonnade is not even an issue because of Dismember. This snap is probably happening. No, what is it? What is that? What is this? Oh, it's just okay, I'm okay with draw 3. I mean, it's not the best thing that could have happened, but we do get attack for 8. Alright. Mutavault's pretty bad. Since our opponent can activate both and has 3 cards in hand. Casting and Merfolk will be good so we can get the tap effect down. And still going to keep us on 2. Dispel lets us kill a Colonnade, which is good. So here we're just going to attack with these 2, I think. Because if we kill the Colonnade and fight it with the spell, we should resolve it. And then our opponent will activate the Mutavault, unless they fight. If our opponent fights over this, we win. So we should attack with everything. Oh, but then we'll lose both of these. I don't know if I want to lose both. We lose both just for 3 damage. Or maybe, alright, I think I have a good line. I think the best line is to actually hope our opponent activates Colonnade, blocks, we kill it after blocks. Takes 3, we keep our Regier around. Our opponent might be thinking if they spend the mana to activate Colonnade, we just Vile in a creature. That's something that they actually have to be concerned about. That's not that good for us. We will be able to dispel that. But that gets countered. And block here, block here. Alright, well, we're probably going to game 3. I guess our opponent only has snaps and paths, so maybe we should actually keep our masters in. All right. Seamaster actually being good with Unified Wills, Aether Vials. The Spell Pierce felt bad. Vapor Snakes felt pretty bad too. Dismembers felt great. The Sieges still don't seem terrible. I see trimming down to 3 of these. We're just trimming a spreading season, playing all 4 masters. Alright, I'll try this. Again, probably poor sideboarding, but what can you do? Alright, we'll keep this. Alright, so depends on if we draw a 2-drop, which we did not. We'll lead with Mutavault, attack for 1. Probably lead with Siege on Dragons. And then just start playing Merfolk. I guess we'll attack first. So that would have been fine, dismembering. Is this even good on Dragons? I mean, our opponent only has, like, Path. Maybe this wasn't even good to bring in. Whatever. We'll give it a shot. Oh, no anticipate's good. Alright, so we'll just play Marawidri. Since we didn't draw a land, I would have probably just slammed a master. Attack for 2. Alright, untap. Alright, so this board's threatening enough, I think, to Supreme Verdict. Well, can't. Has all these mutables to block with. Well, that'll get there eventually. But we will activate a Mutavault and send everything but the Regery. Because if our opponent, I mean... Alright, so if our opponent blocks and tries to... Oh, no, wait, double block them this Mutavault? Please. Alright, well, I can't not take this double LD option. That was a good turn. All right. So we're going to play this Curse Catcher, and we're going to tap this down just in case our opponent wants to get our Mutavault. Alright. Attack for 7, and then we'll be able to just drop master after master after master for the rest of the game. I'm fine with him killing this with snap if that's the play. All right. So here comes a Supreme Verdict. File goes up to 1. Pretty sure just slamming a master is the best play because that forces our opponent to just interact with this next turn no matter what. Then the turn after that we get to Vial and Master and either play, well, Master Pearl and Master Waves. Alright, so our opponent is going to well, I don't like playing Regery here. Opponent's probably just going to path our master and have 2 mana up. What can we, I mean, is there any way we can, we can't really stop that. feel like it's probably best just to activate Mutavault attack, Violin, and then start taking our... Okay. Alright, so we'll put Pearl in. So this is if they have path, still takes 4. Alright. I have no idea what was going on there, but we won our match! Yay! Let's win another one with Merfolk!